Welcome to Easy Shadowing Channel. Practice speaking with me by listening carefully and shadowing to improve your fluency and confidence. Tonight's story is slow, calm, and continuous. Just listen, follow the rhythm, and let the words flow. From her window, Emma could see the city stretching out into the distance, its shape defined by rows of buildings and narrow streets that slowly disappeared into the darkness. Most of the lights were already off, but a few windows still glowed softly, scattered across the skyline like quiet reminders that the night was not yet complete. She always noticed those lights. They felt personal, almost intimate, as if each one belonged to someone who had chosen to stay awake just a little longer. Sometimes she wondered who those people were and what kept them from turning off the light and going to sleep. Perhaps they were finishing work, lost in thought, or simply enjoying the silence, just as she was. Emma leaned slightly closer to the glass, resting her forehead gently against the cool surface. The city looked different at night. During the day, it demanded attention, movement, and purpose. At night, it softened. The sharp edges faded, and everything seemed more forgiving, more patient. She remembered how, earlier in her life, she had been afraid of quiet moments like this. Silence had once felt empty, even uncomfortable, as if it exposed something she was not ready to face. But over time, she had learned that silence did not take anything away. Instead, it offered space, and space allowed thoughts to arrive without pressure. Below her window, a street lamp flickered slightly before settling into a steady glow. The light reflected faintly on the pavement, where no cars passed anymore. The street looked peaceful, almost untouched, as if it existed only for those who happened to be awake at this hour. Emma thought about the idea of endings. The end of a day, the end of a conversation, the end of a phase in life. They often felt heavy, filled with expectations of closure or meaning. Yet the end of the day rarely came with any clear conclusion. It simply arrived, quietly, without asking for permission. The last light in the city felt the same way. It did not announce itself as important, and it did not wait for anyone to notice. It was simply there, glowing steadily, until the moment it was no longer needed. She sat back in her chair and let her shoulders relax. Her breathing slowed naturally, following a rhythm that felt deeper and more comfortable than it had all day. The tension she carried without realizing it began to ease, replaced by a gentle sense of calm. Thoughts drifted through her mind, not in a rush, but one by one, each appearing briefly before fading away. She did not hold on to them. She had learned that at night, thoughts were meant to pass, not to stay. She remembered a time when she believed every thought required action. Every idea demanded a response. Now, she understood that some thoughts were simply reflections, like the city lights in the glass, visible for a moment and then gone. Outside, another light turned off somewhere in the distance. Emma noticed it immediately, even though it made no real difference to the city as a whole. Still, the change felt meaningful to her. It was as if the city itself was slowly preparing for rest. She wondered whether the person behind that light felt relief as they turned it off, or whether they hesitated for a moment before letting the room go dark. Perhaps they stood still for a second, just as she often did, allowing the day to fully end. The idea brought her a quiet sense of connection. Even in silence, even in darkness, life continued gently, shared in small, unseen ways. Time moved differently at night. Minutes stretched without feeling long, and the usual urgency of passing hours disappeared. Emma no longer cared how late it was or how soon morning would come. Right now was enough. She shifted her position slightly, pulling a light blanket around her shoulders, not because she was cold, but because the familiar weight felt comforting. The room remained still, and the only sound she noticed was her own breathing, slow and steady. As she looked out once more, she saw that only a few lights remained in the city. They stood quietly against the dark sky, patient and unhurried. She felt no need to wait for them to disappear. Their presence was enough. Emma closed her eyes, not to sleep just yet, but to rest within the calm she had come to trust. The city outside continued its gentle rhythm, and the last lights glowed softly, holding the night together. Eventually, they too would fade. But for now, they remained steady and quiet, just like her thoughts, just like the night itself. The story ends here. Let the quiet stay with you. There is nothing more you need to do. Good night.